Yo, what's good, my people? So, divine download that I got at this time is about 4 in the morning. A divine download I got was we need to understand that being in perfect harmony with all that is the entire point of all of this. All of this thing that we call this world, all this thing that we call life. This thing that which has many different names that we believe to be ruled and controlled by some type of being or beings or this and that, whatever it might be, all these different things. At the end of the day and at the start of it, everything and all things emanates from the one, oneness, the source, all that is. All that is the exact same. All that is the exact same thing. All that is literally the exact same thing. Everything. At the core of its being, everything is the exact same. All is the self, and the self is all. The self in all. I guess that's why they say see ya. See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya. I see ya, God, the Creator. All that is, I see ya. See ya. See ya. It's interesting how the English language, how language in general, the way that we're taught, it traps us. It traps our mind in the entire world based upon definitions, concepts, things that was taught to us, linguistics, which we were never taught about, and also linguistics which were taught to us. Only really taught to us to keep us on a certain frame of mind in using such language, or keep us within certain dimensions of the language itself. Everything is God. Everything is the Creator. This is some type of creation, but everything, the Creator is simply just another form within this creation, which is no greater than us, our own selves, because of the simple fact that we all come from the source. And yes, of course, within this thing that we call life, some things might have greater influence or greater power within form or from what we perceive. But when it comes to the spiritual realm, when it comes to all that is the source, then we understand that whatever that perceived thing which has all this great power within the world, within the universe is, wherever that it is, that thing at the core of it is the exact same as you, despite what you perceive the strength or the whatever of it to be, the influence of it to be. At the end of the day, a person who just started boxing and is a complete beginner and out of shape and all of that, versus Muhammad Ali. Yeah, Muhammad Ali is the stronger of the two opponents. Muhammad Ali is the stronger of the two opponents, the greater of the two, or whatever, in skill and experience. But regardless of the power in which that has over you or whatever, regardless of that, you both still have beating hearts. You both still breathe. You both still exist and be within this something that we call life. And when humanity begins to understand humanity, what an interesting subject. When humanity begins to understand the secrets of this world, which aren't really secrets. Understand that the secrets of this world aren't secrets because it is right in front of your face at all times, simply waiting for you to become aware of it. But the point of it all is to be in harmony, to be in a harmonious relationship with everything and all things, because everything and all things is you. There is no separation at all. Separation is an illusion within form. Outside of form, there is no separation. It's simply just constructs of illusions that we create for ourselves in order to distinguish between things. And the thing is when you attain a high level of spiritual consciousness, you begin to understand not only the insanity of the world that you see outside of you, but you begin to understand the insanity of your own self, the insanity that you have within yourself, the sickness that you have within yourself. Because the more awareness that you acquire, the more of what is already what already is and always has been right in front of you, in front of your face, becomes aware to you, becomes clear to you. And you start to realize how sick that you truly are, as well as much of the world. And sure, you may try to cope, you may try to do whatever you do, and you may try to avoid, ignore, or whatever, and all these different things, but you have that within you. And it doesn't go anywhere. It simply stays within you, just continuing to patiently wait for the opportunities to be expressed, because you must understand things that are within the mind are outside of any type of time. Time doesn't exist in general, but things within the mind don't. Time is an illusion. And when you start to think for yourself, and you start to imagine, when you start to use your mind, use your imagination, then you realize that time really is an illusion. And through this, we understand that anything that is within the mind continues to stay in the mind, despite time, within the physical realm, despite the time in the realm in which your eyes and your ears pick up on stimuli. And those things within your mind are always waiting for expression, waiting for opportunities for expression. That is why one must gain self-awareness. One must gain self-control. One must gain self-control. One must use the mind. Don't just simply allow the mind to use one at all times and just keep it on autopilot. To have one's mind on autopilot, yet to believe that one is in control of the mind is like a pilot who puts a plane into autopilot, but then still takes the wheel and tries to spin and turn while the plane is still in autopilot. He begins to spin and turn the wheel of the plane, and he sees that the plane does not respond to his will or to his action. And he begins to frantically continue to turn and do all these different things and creates this state of panic, this state of stress within himself. When the plane does turn with him, then he gets momentary satisfaction, momentary happiness, relief. But the plane is still on autopilot, and the pilot, is still under the delusion that the plane is actually in his control, when in reality, he put the plane into autopilot. And the thing is about this situation as well is that even though he put it into autopilot, he still is in control. It is simply that his lack of awareness within this moment is what makes him give up complete and total control of the situation, of what he knows innately that he is in control of. So the dilemma is the fact that he is both correct and wrong at the same time. And this causes great confusion and great stress within the mind, great confusion within the person, within the emotional state. One must have self-awareness, self-control. One must realize what is going on. One must realize that they are the controller, and that is it. And if something does not go the way in which they say, the way in which they speak, or life is just simply not going in the way in which they say, the way in which they speak, and there is some disharmonious relationship between the self and with life, then one must understand that one must attain the awareness. One must use his awareness to take inventory of oneself, to then realize that one had the plane on autopilot, and then take the plane off of autopilot and then resume control of the plane properly, giving the plane commands instead of the plane giving him commands. Basically, give the plane the commands, because the plane is the vehicle. You are the controller. You are the master. A harmonious relationship with all that is starts with oneself, having a harmonious relationship with oneself from within. And from this harmonious unity of oneself from within with oneself, this translates into a harmonious relationship outside of oneself through the soul and the ego of man being able to work side by side, hand in hand, in order to accomplish what it is that the soul wants, and that the ego craves. The ego is the vehicle, rather, the soul being the pilot. The soul is the pilot while the ego is the servant. When one allows one's mind to run on autopilot, the ego becomes a terrible master. When one resumes control, the ego becomes the most beautiful, the most wonderful servant. Be in harmonious relationship with the world, with all that is. And understand that you are that. There is no separation. Ooh, my ancestors. Who are my ancestors, bruh? Where are they? Peace to the gods.